All right. Hello and welcome to the Powered by Rock podcast. We're going to be speaking with the New Jersey punk rock band Doc Rotten today. They have a new album coming out on March 25th of 2022 called Unite Resist. And if it's anything like their new single or past songs, it's going to be an absolute banger. Doc Rotten is coming up next.
You're listening to the Powered by Rock podcast with your host, Isaac Kuhlman. The Powered by Rock podcast was created to help showcase some of the best rock musicians in the world and to pass on to future generations the rock music that has inspired rock fans around the world for decades. We want listeners to be able to hear great stories and life experiences directly from their favorite artists, as well as dig deeper into music theory and talk rock like no other show you've ever heard. This isn't about looking cool, it's about getting real and having a great time. Without further ado, let's start the show.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Powered by Rock podcast. I'm actually really pumped for this episode because I'm going to be speaking with one of the best damn Jersey punk bands around, Doc Rotten, today. The band consists of four guys from Trenton, New Jersey. And if you don't know them yet, we're going to be speaking with Wes, who's one of the vocalists and rhythm guitar player, Andy, who's the other vocalist and lead guitarist, Doug, the bassist, and AJ on drums. Yeah. So, hey, guys, how's it going? Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Hey.
Cool. So one of my favorite things about having this podcast and being able to speak to you guys is that, I get to talk to people who make great music and put their heart and soul into it and play for fans that go to a show and have an awesome time and aren't doing it just because they want to have, lots of money and live in mansions and stuff. I mean, obviously everybody would like that, but that's not why you start playing music, right? And you don't have to be incredibly famous. It's not always a glamorous lifestyle. That doesn't mean you can't have a lot of fun in the meantime. So, first, I just want to say, when I see you guys on Instagram, it looks like you're having a lot of fun. So is that kind of how it actually is in real life?
We did it for the money. And
it's all a show.
It's all a show.
Did it all for the nip.
We're actually real miserable.
We love sleeping in the van. We do it because we don't want mansions. We want to sleep in a van. So
we try to find as many rivers as we can to park next to and sleep in it.
Yeah, a van down by the river. No, man, it's just fun. Music, letting it out.
Yeah.
Writing, playing shows, having fun. We do have fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. You guys haven't had to get into fist fights over who stole the last beer or anything yet?
We got in one fist fight, and it was actually in New Jersey, so we're pretty cool with everybody else outside of this crappy state.
Everybody else.
Yeah, I think he meant fist fights with each other.
Oh, with each other.
Either way.
No.
Yeah.
No.
There's been a few times.
We cuddle a lot.
Yeah.
That's how we sleep real close to each other in the van, so that's like makeup time. You know what I'm saying? Make out time. Sorry, Dave.
Make up or make out. Either way, somebody's getting the benefits there.
You choose.
Check us on OnlyFans.
Yeah, no kidding. I was going to say, that sounds like a live stream service you guys are waiting to start. Cool. So before we get into some of the other great topics I want to bring up today, I first want to ask you guys about your journey. So basically, how did you guys end up getting together? I know that some of you guys were in other bands before this, but what were you guys doing kind of before that brought you guys all together and to the point where you guys were creating Doc Rotten?
Well, AJ and I knew each other, and they were playing in another band, and they lost their singer, and kind of recruited me, and then Doc Rotten formed really from there. And as members left, we just replaced it, and then we got basically the lineup. This is
cool. You didn't have to put
Rotten.
out like a Craigslist ad or anything?
Oh, we did before.
Yeah.
Wes fucked up and put out a Craigslist ad, and we got a guy that was terrible to deal with. He was terrible to deal with. He seemed like a good bassist at first, and no more Craigslist ads.
Yeah.
No more ever.
Yeah, I was going to say because
Tinder, or only Grinder for now. That's how we do.
I was in my car going to college, actually, and then AJ called me. He's like, do you want to play guitar in a punk rock band? And I was like, yeah, whatever, man. Where's that ever going to go?
And where'd you go?
A year later, I was in Japan.
Wow.
it's pretty awesome.
Life sucks.
Life is terrible. I was tough, man.
Yeah, so that's kind of actually one of the biggest regrets that I had after high school is that I didn't at least try to tour for 1 year because I played in a punk band in high school, and that was in the year 2000. So that's how freaking old I am. But yeah, it was one of those things like, yeah, I wish I would have skipped a year of college just to try it out and see what it was like. So that sounds like even if it doesn't work out in the for the extended future, at least you got some awesome experience in the near future.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, we've seen the world, met a lot of great people. I mean, played all over the country, all over Europe. I mean, yeah, it's awesome. You can still do it though.
Yeah, I know. I have a freaking 10-month-old baby, so I got to wait a little bit. But once he gets like 2-3 years old, maybe
2-3 years old, should be holding a full-time job by then.
he'll be my backup drummer.
Yeah.
if we go on the tour, he'll be sitting in the alternate spot. But yeah, so I kind of have like a life philosophy and see if this resonates with you guys. But I always tell people, like, because you can't die and take money with you, I always say I don't want to be the person that's the richest person in the graveyard or the cemetery. I want to have the best stories at the nursing home. What do you guys think of that?
Well, I actually had to kind of have this philosophy. I read this thing. I don't remember what it was called, but it was like a nurse's kind of stories. She was a hospice nurse, I think, in the United Kingdom, and she was interviewing people dying on their deathbed, and they wish they did this, wish they did that. So after I read that, I said, all right, I'm going to start living my life like that.
Yep.
So
instead of saying no to things.
Yeah, just do it, So I quit my job and started playing music.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
What about the rest of you guys? What's your kind of, I know that you guys might have some thoughts about like, hey, you know what? If Wes doesn't carry this thing, we're fucked.
I like the nursing home thing you just said. A lot of STDs are in there now. There's an outbreak, so it sounds like the stories just keep coming. So maybe that's where I need to end up one of these days.
Maybe sooner rather than later. Maybe you'll get more action.
Yeah, why not? Just keep the stories rolling.
Well, that's awesome. So let's kind of talk about and jump into the music side, because I do think you guys have a bit of an old school punk sound, and it's not like you're like 70s punk band or anything, but by that I mean it's kind of a more traditional punk sound that blends a little bit of pop punk into it, but not overtly poppy, right? I think it's kind of, I always say it's like a mashup between like Rancid and Dropkick Murphys, and then you have some roots of like bands like Jersey bands like Bouncing Souls. So were those some of the bands that kind of influenced your sound, and are there any others that kind of influenced?
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
You got to have great choruses.
What was that?
Come on. You got to have great choruses. You got to have songs that people can sing to, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I like.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I think we all like similar bands, and that era of punk rock we all agree on.
Yeah, and I see, is it Doug back there wearing a Ramones shirt? So that's obviously a big one too, right?
Yeah.
I still don't think I've ever met a punk band that's like, I don't know and I don't like the Ramones. Bad Religion for sure.
Who were they?
I didn't get into punk music until I met him, and I was 23. And he showed me No Effects, and I was like, this shit sucks. This is terrible. And then I was by myself, and I put it on, and I was like, all right, some of the songs are okay.
Yeah. Me and Andrew, I took Andrew to a bigwig show at the Court Tavern in New Brunswick, and he was scared because there was like moshing going on, and then 10 minutes later he was in the page like, this is awesome. I love this.
Some crazy cokehead skinhead tried to beat me up, and I thought it was the greatest thing ever.
He had a good time.
I ran away from him, but I mean, I had a good time. I was all sweaty.
That's awesome.
I was because like I played in like cover bands and stuff like that, like classic rock forever. So as soon as I saw that and I got involved, I was like, this is fun. This is way better than hitting on older women.
and then,
yeah,
going on
and then our
cougar hunts.
guitars got better.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I was just curious, have you guys actually ever heard of the band Midtown from Jersey?
Midtown. No, I have not heard of Midtown.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Okay,
I never heard of them.
that's interesting. The reason why I ask is because the song "Better Days," it has a very similar sound to some of their pop punk that they played. So they came out in like the 2000, 2001 era. But they had some very catchy hooks, and they had three singers. So it was kind of like this Jersey band that kind of symbolized that whole like vocal harmonics and melodies of everything that you guys are very familiar with and have in a lot of your courses. So I was just curious if Better Days was anywhere related to that. But if you haven't heard of them, it's probably just the sound that comes from Jersey. I think that maybe is just kind of emanated through pop punk and punk rock for 20 years now.
Yeah, our original bassist wrote that song, and if you really listen to the song, it's no different than "I Turned Into a Martian" by the Misfits.
Interesting.
I can't listen to that our song "Better Days" without singing "I Turned Into a Martian" in my head while I'm playing it on drums. But
that's a freaking drummer for you right there. He's like, "There's no difference. We stole it straight up."
There is that exactly. It's the same thing. But no, he was a good songwriter, and he liked popular bands like Midtown and but good. There were still good bands and big choruses, and it's. That was definitely.
I was just curious. Is
vibe.
he from Midtown? Did he actually come from the band Midtown?
No, he's from Mid Ewing.
Mid Ewing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Mid Mercer.
Nice. Well, cool. So let's talk about what you released so far, and then we can talk about kind of what's coming up. And to my knowledge, you guys released the EP Fallout 2017, which I've tried to find on Spotify. It's there, but none of the songs are actually available to listen to. But I think 2 or 3 of them actually are on other EPs later. And then it went into, I think the second one was Sick and Suffering in the EP, and then followed by Illusion to Choose. Is that kind of the order? Is that how that went?
Yeah, we ended up just bundling them all really in one.
Yeah, that's the deluxe edition, right?
Yeah, that's basically what we did. But yeah, we were just banging out EPs like every 6 months.
Yeah, I was curious, like, how did you guys decide that you put them all out so fast? Just because you were making so many songs?
I thought, like, you need to, when you start a new band, there's a couple things you need to do, is bang out music and play as many shows as possible.
Yeah.
And you have to leave your hometown.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a pretty good approach, because nobody's going to hear of you if you don't play in front of them, right?
Yeah. And then, put on a good show. So, that's just how it is. We were just banging it out, and then we ended up just bundling it all in one and kind of, built some tours around it.
Gotcha.
So it's really
you guys just actually got
3
done
different
with
projects.
Yeah.
So
You guys just got done with kind of a East Coast, like kind of upper Midwest tour of like maybe like 10 cities or something like that.
Yeah. We went as far as west as, I guess, Detroit would be the first west.
Let's call them cities.
Cities. Indianapolis.
A few
maybe.
towns sprinkled in there.
But yeah, it was cool. It was good.
Let's call them
It was
cities.
good to play shows. We went from playing, 100 plus a year to, well, we did 0 in 2020. So
That's a record for us.
I know.
I'm actually proud of that
I know.
record.
We went to 0. Our stock went to 0.
You guys have plans
But
for
yeah.
more touring this year, or is it pretty much kind of a wait because of the holidays?
Yeah, I think we're just gonna play a couple local gigs, and then next year we'll be banging out shows.
Nice. So I do have one question about the Illusion to Choose EP. Now, I know that the song Mind Control actually contains that lyric within it, something about the news and the illusion to choose, right? But I was curious if it had anything to do with the Guns N' Roses double album, Choose Your Illusion, from back in the day with November Rain and stuff.
Absolutely did.
We actually listened. We actually listened to
I
some of
listened
that
to it the
song.
whole time. I even dressed like Axl when I was singing the song.
You can actually dance like Axl.
I can.
It's the best.
And that's and this is I even used this little because he uses the windscreen, but I used an orange one to be more like Axl.
So
no,
you
it
had
had
the
nothing to do.
Had the little kilt and everything.
Kill flannel,
Yeah, that's cool. I was just
And
curious
a
because I mean,
flannel.
but it was
such
Fat
a-
Axl. Remember, I was Fat Axl.
I was curious because it is such a obviously very related name. Like it's similar, but it, like I said, it's from the lyrics, so it wasn't a 1-to-1. I just figured maybe it had something to do with that. But the other thing cool I think about the Illusion to Choose is that you did get to work with Pete Steinkopf from Bouncing Souls to help produce the album. So what was that process like for you guys as a band?
It was cool. Pete was fun. He was easy to work with, and like he's great.
Did he give you
He's
any like
awesome.
tips or tricks that help in the studio for like making it easier?
I mean, like he would on the first record, he would jump in and give us his feedback, but it was more a feedback thing, and keeping us to task. He did a very good job. He's like he's a worker, so it's good.
Yeah,
I never heard of him.
He was great.
So
From the Bouncing What's?
the if you didn't catch that little sound bit that kind of came out, and it was AJ, giving a little crop dusting to the microphone there. But
how's the mic smell?
Fantastic.
So this is kind of one of my favorite things about you guys is that you definitely don't take yourselves too seriously. And I think in one interview, I think it was Andy, you had mentioned that you guys are very mediocre. But
wildly mediocre.
Yeah, there you go.
Wildly.
Well, I definitely don't think that's true because I think you guys are just very relatable. Like if you're in a band and you're having fun, why the hell can't you like loosen up and actually just act like yourselves, right? So I think people.
Bro, I brought one guitar pick on tour this whole time. No strings.
Guitar pick.
Oh, guitar pick.
That's funny.
More
I think
guitars than picks.
In Fort Wayne, one of the guitar players lost his pick, and I just picked it up, and I was like, mine now.
That's hilarious. So I do think that people can take like that lack of seriousness for some carelessness. So what would you say to people who think that you need to be more professional as a band?
We have serious songs,
Yeah.
right? You listen to us.
I don't
Yeah.
associate with
I don't know,
those people.
like, yeah. I mean, like, why do you got to be? I mean, like, we
I know
seriously
a
try
guy
to
that's
have
like
fun,
that,
I
and
guess you could say.
I know a guy that's like that, and he's all over the place. He does music. He's an actor now. He was a model. Now he's doing pizza reviews.
Hand model.
Yeah, so he's a guy that takes himself way too seriously.
Yeah.
And he's like, he might seem happy, but I don't think anything's working for him.
Music's a release,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So
just do what you like to do,
be
man.
you,
and
man.
Just let it roll.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, and Wes, you mentioned that you do have some serious songs, and I do want to come back to that because you guys do seem pretty focused on subjects of like politics and social issues and critical thinking, like not just being a vegetable and just sitting there letting the news brainwash you, right? So how do you juggle being political and trying to unite people? Because that's actually one of the things that you guys seem to have an overall message of is like bringing people together rather than dividing them over controversy. Is it kind of something as simple as like, let's freaking rock together, drink a beer and talk about some shit?
I mean, yeah, but like, I guess it's more like for me, it's just more like seed planting and just calling out things rather than of my perspective or our perspective and just just putting it in a fun song to sing along to, I guess.
Yeah. It's not being
so-
overtly like trying to change people's minds.
I don't want to shove my opinion down your throat. I don't want
Yeah.
you to shove yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just have fun.
Let's
knock it off.
Just have fun. But like, I mean, I think we all can relate to there are some fucked up shit out there.
Yeah.
Well,
do you think it also has anything to do with like we actually kind of all have a common enemy within the country, and do you think that there is a common enemy that we all can actually bond together over as opposed to fight with each other?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have a common enemy. Yeah, I think so.
You
Who
don't
would be your-
want to hang out with somebody and talk about religion and politics and stuff all night. You want to shoot the shit with your buddy and have some fun and laugh and make fun of each other and talk shit.
Yeah.
But if you use the music, we're in a punk rock band.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you have to be political. There's a ton of the Descendants, the Vandals. There's so many bands out there. The Ramones weren't. They were kind of political at times, but
Yeah, they were more political outside of the music than they were within the music. But yeah,
exactly. So you use the music as a vehicle to speak whatever you're talking about, but we also have songs that are just about our lives too.
Yeah, I never intended to write a political
Yeah,
chart
it just
song.
comes out. What's going on around us at all times, like Illusion to Choose. When Wes wrote Mind Control, you could have wrote that song today and it would still apply, maybe more today. And that was written years ago. So these things you get the same problems going on around us, just escalated at times. and that's why we don't take ourselves seriously outside of the music, because life's too short, and we're not super intelligent guys. That we're blue collar guys. We talk shit and fart into microphones.
Well, I like at least you set that expectation for your fans. Like, hey guys, we're not very smart, so
Yeah, we're stupid. Yeah, we're stupid. So
we sleep in a van.
that's awesome. So if obviously if people are listening to the music, it doesn't kind of lean one way or the other in politics. It's like I said, I think it is a common enemy of the news, government, taking what's ours and hoarding it for themselves and all that stuff. And I don't think anybody considers that political. I think that's just a fact, right? Like, you have the rich and they get richer and they lie about stuff, and they will always lie about stuff. So why are we sitting here bickering over this stuff that they're lying about? Because they're the ones that are in control. We don't have that.
yeah, the solution is we have all the power. We just need to unite and stop acquiescing.
And we're
Yeah.
having more fun too.
So
I mean,
So would you say that
way more
the
fun.
solution is to unite and resist?
bingo. Hey. Just say no.
nah, that's not it.
Say no. I should.
Yeah, we'll
That's
get
not
to
it.
that.
I'll call it
Come
That's-
up with
utter
something
roast.
We'll get to that in a minute, because that's
Project
obviously
name.
the new album. But we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But I think I kind of want to talk about some of the songs on the album, because some of the songs, well, on the albums, I should say, it's not just one album, but I am kind of referring more to the deluxe edition that has most of the songs. But when I listen to songs like Federation, very similar to Mind Control in that sense that it was like entitled, but also like because they're kind of told that's how they're supposed to be. But I want to talk to you about it more musically, because there's that song particularly. Now, I know you guys are probably pretty well known for Brass Tacks and for Sick and Suffering. Those are kind of the more anthemic crowd pleasers, I assume. But that song Federation for me is one of these songs that I find really awesome, because musically it has like all these starts and stops, and it sounds like the song's dying off, and then it, like, you get like a drum and a flam on the drums, and it's like ba-dum, ba-dum, and it starts back up again. I'm like, that shit's
Flam
awesome.
rest.
Like, that,
Rest.
yeah, like that just that double beat on the drums that AJ does. I'm like, that's actually really cool, because in my mind it displays like this visual of like somebody resuscitating the song right at that point, like as you're coming in with the lyrics. It just sounds, it sounds audibly like what I would think in my mind is what the sound would be of somebody doing something to visually spark that song up. So then not to mention, like, there's a lot of other good drumming parts in that, but that just singular part, every time I hear it, I'm like, fuck, that's cool.
That song
Well,
sucks.
good job drumming.
It's the first time they've ever said that, ever.
It's the first compliment you've ever had, so I don't think he knows how to answer that.
You just blew so much steam up his ass. This microphone's gonna smell horrible by the end of the
Another
night.
fart's coming out soon.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, the funny thing is, because it's like a very simple like thing, but because it's like right at that point in the song, it's like, was it like, pin the something on my demons. I can't remember the actual line, but
Hold on.
Pin the tail on the
Pin it on the
donkey.
demons inside.
yeah,
of
pin
me.
it on the demons in my head. That's what it is. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
it's like pin it on the demons. Yeah. And so like, as it comes in, it's like, da-doo,
You
da-doo.
know,
It's like,
the
that
idea was
just
to-
sounds cool with the lyrics and stuff. But that whole song actually musically rips through the whole thing, because you've got little like guitar in the background. You've got like, the bass is still doing pretty well. So the complexity of that song, I guess, is a little bit different than some, because it's got more things happening. A lot of pop punk sounds, or a lot of punk sounds, is pretty straightforward, but that one kind of has the changing complexity. When you guys were actually writing that song or putting it together, did you intentionally try to make that one more complicated, or it just was like, this is how it sounds in my head and I want to play it like this?
No, it wasn't really trying to make it more complicated. I was just sitting on a couch with an acoustic, and I just was better, and I was just kind of playing it. And I was just like, this could be cool. What can I do with this? And it kind of got, it was really the ebb and flow in the music had to do with different mindsets to me.
Yeah.
I guess it's hard to say. So it was really all the message that dictated the music. So like those
Nice.
parts where it slows down, you know, I envision somebody whining.
Yeah. Having a meltdown or something and just like it's stopping for a second.
You know what I mean? Like just being like a little entitled little bitch.
Yeah. Well, that actually makes it kind of even cooler because when you transition from one verse to the chorus, it kind of does that. It's like it winds down and it's like, fuck this, like, ba 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 ba, and then it goes into the chorus, right? So kind of like get over that shit.
Yeah, that's and when I brought it to like the whole band, it just kind of morphed into what it turned into.
That's awesome.
We actually played it recently in rehearsal. It sounds better now.
Yeah. I was gonna say I can't imagine that's one of that's like, and it's not that the song's bad because I love the song and I'm telling you that it's one of my favorites, but I feel like it's probably one of those ones that a lot of people wash over who don't play music and just go, yeah, it's a good song. But then you got like Brass Tacks and Sick and Suffering where it's very sing along, and even songs like Better Days and the songs where you put the ooh ah oohs and stuff like that in there. Those are definitely songs that people are going to sing to, where Federation doesn't have necessarily a theme, like a anthemic kind of sound to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's how it came out. It's not like, hey, I guess we can write songs.
Yeah.
We could do different things.
We could do this, people.
We could do it.
We could do this.
You did good.
I didn't do anything.
Oh, well,
I
you-
think
you
I
know.
joined the band and that song was just coming about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did record it, but I blacked out the entire first couple months.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a constant theme coming around is that Andy just basically has no idea what's happening most of the time.
I was so
Where are
lost
we?
when I first started all this.
Still faking it.
Still faking it. Fake it till you make it, right?
That's awesome.
But
No.
yeah,
Right, guys?
we ended up doing a lot of demos. I guess that was late 2019
Yeah. That's
and
when I was
early 2020.
going over to
right?
your house and recording some demos.
I guess all of our free time in 2019. Right, it was 2019, right? That's the year.
No.
Was it 2019?
Tw-
No, when we were
2018.
writing all the demos and doing all the demoing and
Oh,
stuff. That was
yeah,
2019.
2019. We had just got back.
I mean, we
from
came
Europe.
up with a lot of different music that, we didn't select to release at this time
Yeah.
because it's not. I guess not exactly what we were going for, but
Gotcha.
they're good. They're good tunes.
But they could be better. We'll
One
work
day.
on it one day.
Yeah.
One,
So you
one
guys-
day we're going to be a polka band.
I was going to say you guys are putting together show tunes for like
Yeah.
a stage
Now
musical.
we're putting together tunes that actually sell out one day because we might actually be freezing in the van one day and be like, all right, I had enough of this. I'm 40. It's time to sell
country
out.
songs.
Are you saying that 40's old? Because that's how old I'll be in like 10 days.
Well, it's old when you're sitting in a van freezing your ass off.
You're right. I haven't done that.
Seems like you got a nice comfy spot right there where you're at.
Awesome. So I think I think it's pretty safe to say that you guys have a little bit more aggressive sound than kind of what's on the radio. Not to say that it's like angry or anything, but I would say that the message is kind of like we're kind of sick of the same shit that's going on. So you're not just gonna play like the sellout songs like you were talking about, Andy. But you don't just blame the world. You fully are aware that you and I and everyone else has their own part in this messed up social experiment. So where do you think we go from here?
In the world,
Yeah.
I think that tyranny loses
Awesome.
and people realize they have all the power. That's my opinion.
Do you have a roadmap for us? Because I'd like to know.
The more boots on your face and more oppression that people have, the more they'll rise up and say no. So I think we're going the route. So I think it's already happening.
Yeah.
So
with
slowly but
things
surely.
like Bitcoin and things like that, you can't. It's really hard to fight a bigger opponent, and the government's pretty fucking big. They're like the mafia, basically.
Yeah.
So with things like Bitcoin, the best thing to do is just decentralized type of system that you can circumvent and basically ignore them. Just go parallel rather than run into them head on. Just go parallel with them and ignore them, and eventually they will fight back. But I mean, I have a lot of guns. I don't speak for everybody in the band like that, but like I personally do. So like I'm good with that. Like I don't want to ever hurt anybody, but I just in case anybody comes knocking on my door, like I'll be all right.
Yeah. I like that.
They're gonna make sound bites of this interview.
Yeah.
We're screwed.
I mean, one of the problems is misinformation, disinformation, censorship. Yep. So it's not like you can go on any of these legacy media outlets. I'm going to call them.
Yep.
Corporate media.
Well, legacy because they've basically, censored themselves out of business.
Yeah.
So they're running on fumes. But it's not like you can go there. So one of the things that is the courts. You have to use the courts because that's where propaganda that doesn't exist, where you can only speak fact.
Yeah.
So, and emotions don't matter. It's literally.
Yeah. And that's actually funny because Alex Jones recently got sued by the parents of the victims of Sandy Hook, and he had to actually sit there and like tell the truth. He's like, "I'm just playing a character. What I say on my show isn't real." And you're like, "You're a piece of shit."
Alex Jones fired a journalist who released a documentary, and then she got arrested for releasing the documentary. He fired her.
Wow.
Millie Weaver was her name. Documentary was called Shadowgate. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
So Alex Jones.
Guy's definitely
I hate Alex Jones.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about the new music because obviously you guys have released the first single off the new album called Psych Ward 103 and put together a music video for it. I think both the song and video are actually pretty cool, and it's very similar to what you're talking about with the moods and the emotions of that one Federation, where you kind of have a storyline for each verse, and it kind of goes in chronological order. And with the music video, you actually introduce a female actress who actually explains like, well, how are you feeling, Wes, and talk about this and move on to that, and it actually kind of propels the storyline. So how did that idea for the music video come about? Because it's done pretty good and includes good actors and some dialogue, which not all punk bands do.
Well, I think we should talk about the song first, where the song idea came from. Andrew?
It's about the ongoing opioid epidemic. No, actually, it's not. I wrote that song making fun of my roommate because he would always get messed up and go to Florida, and he would always get a new girlfriend, and it never worked out in a rehab. So sorry, that when I say Florida, I mean rehab.
Yeah,
anyway,
they always go to like Florida,
or Arizona,
Sunnyview.
Yeah,
some sort of.
So I wrote that. I wrote it in like 10 minutes, and then I was like, "Hey, dude, listen to this song I wrote about you," and I sang it to him, and he did not laugh at all, actually. But
it's a fun song.
But I was cracking up, and I was like, "That's pretty good. I got to show the guys this song."
Yeah,
we all loved it.
That's when you know it's good, when the person you wrote it about absolutely hates it.
Yeah, it's great, and I don't think I've sent him the link to the song or anything like that yet. Maybe I will. I'll be like, "Hey, I wrote this song for you. Remember?" Went viral.
And now it's our biggest song. Cool.
Yeah. And the video was fun. Like, so that was DIY Films, who they've done music videos and shorts and horror films, full movies and stuff like that. And we're friends with them. They're here in Trenton. And it was just kind of just gave them the lyrics, and they just kind of put the whole thing together. It was just, they just did a great job.
That's awesome.
And
yeah, and that
it was
DIY
fun. It was fun to shoot, and I hate doing videos. And it was fun.
I was saying, just so people know, if they're looking it up, it's DI, like Y as in Y the question, right?
Yeah.
So WHY.
DI, yeah. WHY.
Cool. So in the video,
they killed it. They slayed it.
There is a female that's the young girl in room 103. Was she somebody that the band knew, or is this an actress within that community, or was anybody trying
We
to
go
hook up with
way back. I met her about 15 minutes before we started filming. So she's an actress.
Yeah.
So they have worked with her in the past.
Nice.
Chrissy, right? Chrissy, yeah. So
Yeah,
they've
cool.
worked with her in other films. Yeah, and Irene, yeah, she did the nurse. They did a great job. Eileen. Come on, Eileen.
Shit.
Awesome.
But yeah, it was cool. It was really I think they did a really good job. I was really
Awesome.
happy with it.
And so let's talk about the new album. Obviously, if it's anything like the first single, it's going to be a pretty awesome album. So what can people actually expect from this album that may be similar or different from what you guys have already put out?
I think it's better.
It's more amped up.
Yeah, I think it's a lot better.
Definitely.
It has really the same. I guess it's in the same wheelhouse as the first record, but I think it's a great record.
Well,
We did a great job.
first off, I'm a part of this record.
Doug was there. We all wrote songs. It was really. It got better.
You know.
So.
Hey,
Yeah,
man.
it was cool because we got cabins. We did two kind of when we were writing it and working on it. We got two cabins, one in like the Poconos and then one in New York.
We held the family's hostage.
Well, this sounds
You
pretty
know.
fancy for some guys who love vans.
Well, we had we had to hide some bodies.
No,
We went rural.
This was my first full-length record that I've ever been a part of, and I didn't know what to expect, like writing all the songs and getting all these, going through the process of a full-length record, like all these songs. I've only wrote 2 or 3 songs here or there, but I had a blast through the whole process. It was awesome,
Yeah.
What did we end up writing? How many songs total? 20. It was in the 20s. And we recorded 19 and then whittle it down to 16 for the record.
Nice.
So we
Did you guys do it all yourselves, or who'd you work with to actually record it?
Pete.
Yeah,
Pete
Pete.
Steinkopf.
Pete did it again. Yeah.
So, and that's actually where I got the idea for the cabins, because I watched a documentary on the Bouncing Souls when they were talking about how I spent my summer vacation, and they did it all in a cabin in like
Nice.
Vermont or New Hampshire or something in New England. So I was like, well, we should do that. No distractions.
That was fun.
We literally would just wake up. I'd wake up at 8 and go to bed, I don't know, in the middle of the night, 2 a.m.
Cook some eggs
Yeah.
in the morning and
You
get
know.
right to it.
Just been banging it out.
So is that
And in the one cabin, we had a wood fireplace going.
That's where we did vocals.
That's where we did vocals.
We did the vocals right by the fire. It didn't dry your
stove. Yeah.
It didn't dry your mouth out or anything. It wasn't hot or nothing.
I was saying you guys didn't put a boiling pot of water on it at least to get some humidity in there?
No.
No, we're not that smart.
It was like snowy.
we've already discussed. We're not that smart.
It was fun though. It was fun.
That's awesome.
So,
So
yeah.
when you guys are actually when you put this out, are you guys going to be releasing more music videos for it, or how's kind of what's the process before you guys launch it? Because it's going to be still 4 months away, right?
Yeah, the title track video is coming out in the new year, right? It's January. Is that when it's going to drop?
Yeah, we're the dates aren't firm yet, but we're going to be releasing 3 more music videos
Before
And,
then,
yeah. Well, there'll be two will come out right before the record. One will come out shortly after. And don't want to give too many details on them, but they're gonna be awesome. I mean, they're what these guys, DIY guys and gals, they're. I mean, our buddy Andy did all our other music videos before, and he was fantastic to work with, but. I don't know if it's just switching and seeing what other people are doing, but it's I'm so stoked to see, because we've only seen Psych Ward, which is already out, and then the next video for the title track, like Wes was just talking about, and we're so happy with just those 2 alone, and we're really excited about the next 2 after that.
awesome. So you guys haven't recorded or haven't done the first or the last 2, or you have done them all already?
No, we recorded
All the videos are recorded, yeah.
Yeah.
We recorded all of them. We just haven't seen
the final product.
footage. Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
So Wes, you obviously said you don't like doing music videos, but what do you guys think about when you see the music videos come out and you're like, that's us, that's we're going to be on YouTube, that's going to be us on YouTube? How does that?
I was like, wait, I have to hear me and look at me? Great. That
when
sucks.
I first saw the Psych Ward 103 music video, I was like, wow, I have really bad sunglass tan. So yeah, sunglass burn.
Yeah.
So I was on a boat all day, and then I showed up there, and I took my sunglasses off, and I was like, wow, that's really bad. So for anybody watching this, go and look at my face. You'll see what
Doug's
I'm talking
raccoon
about.
face.
It's really bad. It's really bad.
Yeah, so I was
I
going
was
to
on
say,
a
Wes,
boat
you
doing
said-
a rap music video. There's bitches all over the place. That's how
I was
you
gonna
should tell that story, Doug.
Yeah, videos. I mean, I just, you know, it's like not the fun part for me. That's for sure. But
Yeah.
you know, it's cool. But they actually did really good job. I didn't hate it, so that was cool.
Yeah.
And our first videos, our buddy Andy did them all. Andy Zielinski, he did a great job. But this they kind of had like with DIY. There's more than one person.
It's a production.
Yeah, they have you know. I guess they got more people in it, and they made it like
They got more stuff.
very easy
Yeah.
because they got, you know, they make movies and stuff.
Yeah.
They're not a
Yeah.
one-man
Yeah.
shop rather. So
Well, I was going to say, because you said, you know, now you got to look and see, or you got to hear yourself and see yourself. And I was like, well, think about how the rest of us feel, Wes.
yeah, it sucks. It sucks to be you, but then again, I guess it sucks to be me too.
I'm looking at myself right now. This is great.
So it's terrible.
No, that's awesome. Like, it's been a lot of fun, obviously, talking to you guys. And I really do. I think your music is freaking awesome. And I can't wait to hear the whole record. So, you know, we're going to put some links in the show notes below this video, obviously in the podcast and everything, for anything. But before we go today, do you guys have anything that you want to talk about? Upcoming shows that you guys said you might be doing some local shows, or anything else you want to say to fans before we go today?
We'll be playing at the Mill Hill Basement. Yeah, December 4th.
Awesome.
December 4th.
I don't have anything to say about like shows or anything, but this is my first bang drink. I don't know.
Please sponsor us.
I'm shaking.
Please.
Back here. This is like got me all jittery. I don't even know what's going on right now.
That's what I like to tell the fans.
I just got banged.
We have fans. We have fans.
We got
I'll
one.
tell you what, man.
and
I
then
was thinking about the time we were in Slovakia, and that guy was singing our songs in the front there when we were playing, and I was just like, that is so cool. Like we're halfway around the world, and somebody knows our songs,
yeah.
and we're here right now.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would want to really promote is the upcoming record. And if you liked our old music, you're gonna really fucking like what's coming.
Yeah.
Awesome. So thanks, guys. I just want to thank, obviously, Wes, Andy, Doug, and AJ from Doc Rotten for the incredibly fun conversation today. And if you haven't checked out
Thanks
their
for
music
having
yet,
us.
yeah, make sure to go to the show notes below to the of this episode and check out the music there. So if you like what you heard on the show, please make sure to subscribe to the podcast and share it with your friends on social media. You can see the full video interview on our YouTube channel as well. Also, if you want to check out some of our written content or any of the products or merch that we have available, go to poweredbyrock.com to read our absolutely free rockin' blog full of album reviews, interviews, and lists to keep you entertained. And find our gear as well so you can pick up some items and play and look like a rock legend. That's our show for today. We'll see you for the next episode soon. Until then, rock on.